Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto, and today guys we're taking a cheeky look at Polkadot. Specifically, will Polkadot get to $150? So Chris, this is something that we've seen in the charts recently, and although we don't do that many Polkadot videos, we felt that actually this was something that we probably should touch on. So we're going to get into the Polkadot charts. We're going to talk a little bit about Polkadot for those who don't know. We'll have a look at the daily, the 4-hourly, the 1-hourly charts, and then give a bit of a price prediction of whether or not we see $150 Polkadot during 2021. So if you do find this video useful and informative, do go ahead and smash that like button. Chris really does appreciate it, as do I. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you'll be kept up to date with all the videos, live streams, and premieres that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all that said and done, let's jump on over to the desktop, Chris, and just kind of give a brief introduction to Polkadot and then have a look at the charts and to that $150 price prediction for the DOT token.
Yeah, let's do it. I think this one's going to do really well 2021, Nick. Let's get into it.
Yeah, Polkadot, it has a lot of potential, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. So Polkadot in brief, right? So a brief introduction, just for those who do not know, Polkadot is basically a next generation blockchain protocol. It's designed to connect, basically multiple specialized blockchains into one unified network. Ultimately designed as part of a broad vision for a web that basically does return control to individuals over internet monopolies. Polkadot builds on the revolutionary promise of previous blockchain networks while offering several fundamental advantages. So you might be thinking, what are those? Well, straight away we have scale. Blockchains in isolation can only process a limited number or a limited amount of traffic, right? There's only a certain amount that they can do. And Polkadot is a sharded multi-chain network. And for those who do not know what sharding is, there's a few different examples of this. You can see it with things like One Harmony or Harmony One, depending on how you want to say that. You can also see it with things like 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗧𝗕 as well. But Polkadot is a sharded multi-chain network. And this basically means that it can process many transactions on several chains in parallel, eliminating those bottlenecks that you see with some of those other networks such as Ethereum currently. But basically those other kind of first generation blockchains, Chris, they all have to process transactions one at a time, right? Whereas when you can do things in parallel, you can significantly improve the scalability and create the right conditions for increased adoption and future growth. Those sharded chains connected to Polkadot, they basically refer to these things as parachains, whereas something like Harmony One would refer to it as a shard. So in Harmony One, we have shard 0, shard 1, shard 2, shard 3, and so forth. On the Polkadot ecosystem, we have it called parachains. Okay, so there's the Polkadot, and then there's parachains, which all run in parallel. But this is a fantastic way to scale a blockchain. And the second thing is all about the specialized. Chris, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so when it comes to blockchain architecture, one size just clearly doesn't fit all, right? All blockchains make trade-offs to support different features and use cases. For example, one chain might optimize or might be optimized for identity management, while another might optimize for file storage, for example. On Polkadot, each blockchain can have a novel design optimized for, say, a specialized use case. That means blockchains can offer better service while also improving efficiency, security as well, by leaving out unnecessary code. By building on the substrate development framework, teams can develop and customize their blockchains faster and more effectively than ever before, and basically whatever has ever been seen to be possible, I guess, Nick.
Yeah, and it's fantastic to be able to do such a thing, right? And parachains really make it all possible to build on in such novel ways. But basically, the other thing that we have to talk about is obviously working together. So networks and applications on Polkadot can share information. And this comes down to that interoperability aspect of it, right? So when you build on Polkadot, the interoperability is kind of already there. So Polkadot can share information and functionality like apps on a smartphone without needing to rely on centralized services or service providers with questionable data practices, right? So sharing data is a crucial thing. And unlike previous networks that operated largely on standalone environments, Polkadot offers that interoperability and cross-chain communication, which is really, really important. And this opens the door to, innovation and all sorts of new services, and basically allow users to transfer information between chains. And I cannot stress how important that is. So, for example, a chain providing, financial services can communicate with another chain that provides, access to real-world data, which we often refer to as oracles. And a good example of that would be something like Chainlink, right? But leaving that oracle aspect aside 1 second, that real-world data could be things like, stock market price feeds, or anything else that you might need to use within a smart contract environment. So it's very, very important that you have that interoperability, and Polkadot does it very, very well because obviously with all of those parallel chains or those parachains, it makes that communication more efficient. But we should probably talk a little bit about how the governance works, Chris.
Yeah, so it's self-governance really. So committees on Polkadot, they can govern their network as they see fit, which is awesome, really. And it can hold a transparent stake in the future of Polkadot network governance as a whole. Generally, teams can customize and optimize their blockchain governance to suit their needs, experiment with new ideas, or swap in pre-built models for faster deployment. Blockchain governance models can even be perfected and upgraded as needed, really, which I think is awesome, and something that you can't do on all the other blockchains.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing to bear in mind is like any other software, it needs to be easily upgradable. So blockchains, they also need upgrades, right? And they need to stay relevant and they need to improve over time. And this is some of the problems that you see with, let's just say, name Ethereum as an example, where they try to upgrade it and they try to update it, but then there's bugs in that code. And so, you need to have a system that's going to be easy to upgrade, that isn't going to have issues with coding later down the line, and ultimately something ideally that is more modular based. So upgrading conventional chains, like Ethereum, normally involves something called a hard fork, and you see it quite a bit. And basically this creates two separate transaction histories that can splinter a community into two, and often takes months of work. Polkadot enables forkless upgrades, and I cannot stress how important forkless upgrades are. Basically allowing blockchains to evolve and adapt easily as better technology becomes available. So it's a future proofing, if you will. So it's very important. And when taken together, all of these elements that we've spoken about, these core features, they open a world of possibility. This is possibilities for new services that put people back in control of their own lives, their digital lives. And basically, several teams are already building very impactful solutions for the Polkadot ecosystem, and a whole range of different applications. These things include finance, gaming, digital identity, even the Internet of Things, supply chain management, social networking, and even cloud technologies. Obviously, Web3 Foundation, the organization responsible for basically stewarding the development of the Polkadot system, supports many of these teams with grants, funding of the projects at various different levels of the Web3 technology stack. And from those low-level infrastructures to ecosystem components such as wallets, parachains, bridges, and other tooling as well. So it's absolutely fantastic. And obviously, the day by day, the Polkadot system is growing larger and more robust as teams realize the benefit and efficiency of deploying their projects on Polkadot. And most recently, Chris, we've invested in a Polkadot project called Reef, and there's community is very, divided on that one, but
Hmm.
we'll leave it there. But there is some stuff actually being built on Polkadot that is very, very interesting. So Polkadot has a very unique design that gives projects more possibilities for innovation. It has a flexible, iteration than basically what was ever possible on previous networks. And by bridging these multiple specialized chains together into one scalable network, Polkadot enables a blockchain technology to reach its full potential for real-world use cases, giving rise to new markets and paving the way for future decentralized economies. So it's a very important project. So I just felt it was really important to talk about that at the start of this video, give you a brief introduction as to what Polkadot is and why it's a very powerful system. So let's jump on, Chris, over to the chart and start talking about the Polkadot price prediction, specifically that $150.
Hmm.
So here we are with Polkadot, or the DOT token, to the USD on the daily. We can obviously see the big Bitcoin correction and the market correction as of yesterday, when we actually are recording this video. We can see that we have a current trading volume, Chris, or value of $32. So to go from $32 up to that $150 price target might seem like quite a task. However, I don't think that is going to be the case at all. We've seen quite significant gains so far, and I'm just going to throw this on here so you can see. We've seen a 775 approximately percentage from our low level of December the 23rd through to basically what was the 20th of February. So if you're investing in those early stages, you've already seen significant price increases. So it's a fantastic thing to have seen, and this rally to the upside isn't over by any stretch of the imagination. The bull market, Chris, has barely even started. Now, what we're going to do is just briefly have a look at this daily chart and then go ahead and dive a little bit deeper. So on here, we can see the red candles and that high point on our Fibonacci. We've actually come down just below the 702 Fibonacci level, and we were approaching, but it didn't go as low as the 618. So we actually pulled right back up into that 702 area. So we'll have to see how that plays out and whether or not we're going to get a bit of a reversal here. All the chances are, there. We do need to get a close inside that 786 area in order to really have a confirmation that we're moving on out of here. But for now, the 702 is a nice safe zone. We can see the volumes are definitely high with lots of selling pressure recently in the last couple of days. But overall, if you look at a macro view, the volumes are increasing. Okay, they're not decreasing. They haven't been decreasing since over here, which was the 16th of January. Okay, so we had that decrease, but ever since this particular date, which was the 21st of January, on a macro view, they've actually been increasing, which is good to see. With that being said, we can obviously see that the RSI is now corrected on this daily chart. We were overbought until today, and now we were actually no longer overbought. We're actually down here at 62, so they've got that good correction level. And once we get into this zone here, we can see that what usually happens with Polkadot is it rallies back up to the upside. So this thing is actually pretty good position. But let's pull this chart down, Chris, into that 4-hourly view. And on this 4-hourly view, we'll be able to just see what's going on with these candles specifically in a little bit more detail. We can see that actually we were pretty much entering that oversold status within our RSI. Okay, that happened when we got to the bottom here, right? When we got into that 702 area and bouncing on out of it. So, or actually getting a little bit down into that 618 area on the Fibonacci, but not quite staying there. We ran it on back out of there pretty quickly, and we have an RSI now of about 44 on this 4-hourly chart. We can see the volumes actually started to flatten out here at the top end. So that's kind of meant that we've been quite static here on the last couple of hours or so. So everything's looking okay, stabilizing in this zone here, Chris, on the 4-hourly chart for Polkadot and the DOT token. And the RSI is actually in a very good position to continue rallying to the upside. The only problem that's going to stop that is going to be the fact that the volumes are already high. And in order to really keep this thing going, you either need consistent, good buying volume, or you need an increase in volume, preferably buying. Now, with that being said, we could obviously cool off the RSI, the volumes, could make them decrease and get that correction back down towards 30 on the RSI, and then have a nice shot to the upside with some kicker volumes. But let's pull this into that 1-hourly view and see if that gets confirmed, or at least it's more of the same. We can see how that volume was building nicely, and it has started to decrease a little bit Last couple of hours has increasing buying volume, which is indicated here within those 2 green candles. I'll just make that a little bit bigger so you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. We can also see that we were oversold on 2 occasions on this dot chart. So the first one comes in when we had this price fall here, and the second one comes in most recently in that zone there. We are on this hourly chart at about 47 on the RSI, so lots of potential to the upside. And if we continue that volume growing as good positive buying volume, then we could definitely spike this thing up to the upside in no time at all. With that being said, the volumes are still high. So ultimately, we'd actually prefer to have those volumes drop off a little bit before we have that swing to the upside. And if we do that, then we'll have to expect the price to also fall a little bit further, correct the RSI, get the RSI corrected and poised, ready to boost, and then obviously kick that volume in, which will then see us get the maximum amount of swing to the upside. But let's pull this back into that daily view, just review where we are, and talk a bit about that $150. So we can see on this Fibonacci retracement, we have the extensions in it. We have the low level of the Fibonacci here of the 23rd of December, the high level, which is actually the 20th of February, and I can just up a little bit, make it on the nose. We can see that the very first price target that this is indicating to us is $65. Okay, so $65.03 is the very first price target. That should be relatively quick to hit, given that everything is kind of ready in a bull cycle, good to go. We have to just have a few things corrected first. The second thing, the second price target, Chris, that's shown here is actually $102. So, you know, that might be a little bit harder to get to. It might take a couple of, minor corrections en route to get there. But ultimately, it's on the radar, guys. It's an extension level that is now appeared on our chart, and we should be able to hit that one pretty quickly and easily, given it is the second price target. It's not even moving up the chart too much. Moving on up, we can see that the next price target, the third price target, Chris, is $139.64. Okay, that one there is, again, should be possible. Cannot see any reason why it wouldn't happen. And we should even surpass that. Now, the top end of this chart, the stretch target, if you will, is actually $162.70. So I'm thinking that we're going to end up somewhere between both the 3.618 extension level and the 4.236 extension level. And if we do that, then we're going to be aiming for about $150, which I think is probably going to be a psychological barrier where we're going to see a lot of potential selling happening. So I don't think we're necessarily going to hit that $162. I think we'll go above the 139, maybe get towards that 150, hit the 150, and then that will be where we end up. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But do let us know what your thoughts and comments are in the comments section. Do you think $150 is going to be achievable with the Polkadot and the DOT token during 2021? I think $150 is very possible. Did you let us know what your thoughts are? Chris, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, like I expect this one to do really, really well in this bull run. Yeah, like whether we'll see the 150, I don't know, but I think it's possible. I think it's definitely possible. I think we're likely to see this market get to about the 5 trillion mark. That's kind of where I expect it to be. That probably sounds bonkers to people. Nick and myself have been talking about a multi-trillion crypto market since we started this channel. Didn't really feel confident at 300 billion to be saying the figure out loud. But now we're starting to see close to 2 trillion at points. It feels more fitting to openly sort of talk about our thoughts, but we have always said multi-trillion market.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, if you have found this useful, informative, then do go ahead and smash that like button. Chris really appreciates it. I really appreciate it. And I like to think that you appreciate it too. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you're not yet subscribed, do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you'll be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with all that said and done, we hope you have a fantastic day, guys, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Take care.